Imagine walking into a small, dusty cabin on the edge of the Wild West, looking for nothing more than a place to stay for one night, and finding the love of your life instead. A lone Apache woman, weary from travel, expected only shelter, but what she found changed both their lives forever. In a land where danger lurks behind every corner and trust is rare, their chance meeting sparks a story of courage, connection, and unexpected romance. Before we dive into this incredible tale, make sure to subscribe, share this video, and leave a comment. Let's get started. The sun hung low over the endless plains, painting the dusty town in shades of gold and crimson, shadows stretching long across the wooden facades. The wind carried the scent of hay and smoke, blending with the faint aroma of horses and worn leather. Every creak of the saloon doors and distant clatter of hooves seemed amplified in the quiet of the evening, hinting at stories hidden in the folds of everyday life. He rode slowly through the streets, the weight of solitude pressing on his shoulders, his horse's hooves striking sparks against the dirt, each step a reminder of years spent building a life alone. She appeared like a shadow at the edge of the main road, her form graceful yet deliberate, moving with the confidence of someone accustomed to survival. Her eyes, dark and alert, scanned the street as if measuring every face for threat and opportunity, every gesture a careful calculation. She clutched a small satchel, worn from travel, and her boots were caked with dust from miles of rough terrain. Each movement revealed resilience born of hardship, a story unspoken yet etched in the lines of her face. She paused at the edge of the street, hesitant yet resolute, searching for a safe place to rest for a single night. He noticed her instantly, not merely as a stranger, but as a presence that shifted the stillness of the street. There was something magnetic in the way she carried herself, a quiet confidence interlaced with vulnerability. He dismounted, his boots stirring dust as he approached, every step deliberate and measured. The horse nickered softly, sensing the tension between its rider and the newcomer. She looked up, startled, and for a brief moment, uncertainty flickered across her features. Then recognition, or perhaps relief, replaced it, and she offered a small, cautious smile that hinted at the hope she carried beneath her guarded exterior. "Evening," he said, his voice low and steady, careful yet inviting, a tone that demanded attention without force. "You look like you could use a place to stay." She paused, uncertainty clouding her expression, the instinct to flee warring with the desperate need for shelter. "Just for one night," she murmured, her words measured but honest. "I don't mean any trouble, I only need somewhere safe to rest." He studied her carefully, noting the truth in her gaze and the careful way she measured every word. He nodded, acknowledging the honesty he recognized, and gestured for her to follow him. The cabin sat on the outskirts of town, a modest structure of weathered logs and stone, smoke curling lazily from the chimney. It was simple, yet warm, a stark contrast to the cold, dusty streets beyond. Inside, the fireplace glowed, casting flickering shadows across the wooden walls and the sparse furnishings. The smell of burning pine mingled with the faint aroma of dried herbs and food, creating a sense of comfort rare in these harsh lands. She set down her satchel, finally allowing herself a moment to breathe, the tension easing from her shoulders, and she looked around with quiet appreciation, aware that such safety was a gift few could offer. They shared a meal of bread, stew, and hard cheese, sitting across from one another at the worn wooden table. Conversation was hesitant at first, punctuated by long pauses as each measured the other's intentions. She spoke of her travels, the dangers she had narrowly escaped, and the hardships that had shaped her life. He listened, offering occasional observations from his own experiences, the subtle humor and insights bridging the gaps between them. Each word slowly eroded the distance, creating a bond that neither expected, revealing layers of humanity and understanding beneath the surface of necessity. As the fire crackled, the night deepened, painting the room in amber and shadow. She found herself drawn to the warmth, both of the fire and the presence beside her, sensing the quiet strength in his gaze. He observed her as well, captivated not only by her appearance, but by the unspoken stories that lingered in her posture, the quiet dignity in her manner. Each glance was a silent conversation, a careful dance of awareness and curiosity, the beginnings of a connection neither could yet articulate. Outside, the wind whispered against the cabin walls, a gentle reminder of the vastness and isolation of the frontier. Sleep came reluctantly, heavy with thoughts neither could voice, the tension of proximity and vulnerability lingering. She lay in the loft above, listening to the faint sounds of the night, the fire's crackle, the creak of timber, the distant call of an owl. He remained below, tending the dying embers, his mind replaying the events of the evening, the sense that something unexpected had entered his life, a presence both fragile and strong, yet undeniable. The night seemed to stretch endlessly, each second waited with anticipation and the unspoken question of what the morning might bring. When dawn broke, sunlight streamed through the cabin windows, painting the room in soft gold. She rose early, moving with quiet deliberation as though each motion carried significance. He watched, hesitant yet compelled, knowing that the time of decision had arrived. "You don't have to leave," he said, his voice steady but charged with emotion. "Not if you don't want to. You're welcome to stay." She paused, emotions flickering in her eyes, the weight of her choices pressing upon her. What had begun as a single night of refuge was now a turning point, the first step toward a life she had not anticipated. The connection between them grew subtle but undeniable, a bond forged not through grand gestures, but through shared experience, mutual respect, and unspoken understanding. Her presence brought warmth and vitality into the quiet life he had built, while he offered safety and stability she had long sought. Each interaction, each glance, reinforced the sense that they were more than strangers brought together by circumstance. The foundation of trust was laid, fragile yet resilient, and the unspoken possibility of love lingered in the space between them, waiting for the courage to be acknowledged. Even as they carried on with daily routines, the tension and attraction simmered beneath the surface. She helped with chores, learned the ways of the homestead, and slowly became part of a world she had only glimpsed from afar. He, in turn, observed her quietly, admiring the way she adapted, the wisdom and skill she brought to tasks, and the quiet strength that underpinned her vulnerability. Their interactions were small, almost imperceptible, yet each one left an imprint, gradually weaving them together in ways neither fully recognized until it was too late to ignore. By the time the sun sank below the horizon once more, painting the sky in hues of fire and gold, the simple act of offering shelter had transformed into something profound. She had come seeking safety for one night, yet she remained, drawn by the warmth, the protection, and the subtle magnetism of a man she barely knew. He, for his part, found himself captivated, aware that her presence had shifted something fundamental within him. The night held the promise of beginnings, a fragile hope that love might take root amidst the hardships of frontier life. Days turned into weeks, and the rhythm of life on the homestead settled into a comfortable routine. She woke early with the sun, her movements fluid as she tended to the animals and helped with chores, the natural ease of her presence filling the cabin with warmth. He watched her, often quietly, admiring the grace and determination that seemed woven into every motion. Conversation flowed more freely now, laughter peppering their days, and even the silence between them carried a sense of companionship. The fire they had kindled the first night had grown into something steady and unwavering, subtle yet undeniable, leaving them both aware of its pull. The Apache woman began to share stories of her past, of the life she had left behind, and the world beyond the plains. She spoke of her family, the traditions that shaped her, and the trials that had brought her to seek shelter in a stranger's home. He listened intently, never interrupting, offering the respect and patience she had rarely found. Each story strengthened their bond, revealing layers of vulnerability and resilience that drew them closer. In turn, he shared fragments of his life, of loneliness endured, of battles fought in silence, and of dreams for a future that seemed impossibly distant until she arrived. Evenings became their quiet sanctuary. The cabin's fireplace glowed warmly as they sat together, sharing the small pleasures of frontier life. He would carve wood or repair tools while she sewed or prepared food, their proximity allowing glances and touches that spoke louder than words. Sometimes they would simply sit in silence, the crackle of the fire and the occasional call of an owl their only companions. Each moment solidified the trust between them, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, admiration grew into something deeper, a connection neither could ignore. Their hearts had begun to recognize each other as home. One crisp morning, a messenger arrived from the town, delivering word of a neighboring ranch under threat from outlaws. Without hesitation, they saddled their horses and rode together, moving with unspoken coordination, relying on trust built over weeks of shared experience. She rode with confidence, bow in hand, arrows ready, the same resolve that had guided her journey to this homestead, now defending the safety of others. He rode beside her, rifle in hand, steady and focused, the weight of responsibility and care pressing equally upon them. Their partnership was seamless, the combination of skill and intuition proving formidable against danger. The outlaws were few but ruthless, and the confrontation was tense. She moved with precision, taking aim when necessary, while he covered her flanks, their movements instinctive and synchronized. The skirmish ended quickly, the intruders scattering into the brush, leaving the homestead and ranch secure. Breathless and exhilarated, they dismounted, their eyes meeting with a shared understanding that went beyond words. That night back at the cabin, the adrenaline still thrummed through their veins, and in the quiet of the firelight, the unspoken feelings between them finally surfaced, undeniable and potent. Under the stars, he spoke softly, his voice carrying the weight of weeks of unvoiced emotion. "I never imagined someone could change the life I've built, but you have. I don't want to imagine a day without you here." Her eyes glistened with emotion, reflecting both the firelight and the depth of her own feelings. "I only came looking for one night," she whispered, "but I've found something I never expected, someone who makes me feel safe and alive at the same time." The words hung between them, fragile yet unbreakable, a promise and confession all at once. From that night forward, their love deepened, growing organically through shared responsibilities, laughter and quiet intimacy. She embraced the life of the homestead, blending her own traditions with the frontier ways he had mastered. He, in turn, adapted, learning to respect and honor her heritage, their relationship a seamless weaving of two worlds. The cabin became more than shelter, it became a home, a sanctuary where love and respect formed the foundation of everything they built together. Neighbors noticed the change in him, the softening of his gaze, and the way she carried herself with a quiet authority that commanded admiration. Time passed, seasons shifted, and the harshness of the frontier never fully eased, yet together they endured. Spring brought new growth and renewed hope, summer long days of labor and laughter, autumn the harvest and reflection, and winter nights by the fire sharing stories and planning a future. Through it all, their love persisted, strengthened by the trials and triumphs of life on the plains. Each challenge faced together became a testament to the bond they had formed, a bond that had begun with one night of shelter and had grown into the unshakable foundation of their lives. Eventually, the day came when he knelt beside her, heart racing, eyes steady and unwavering, offering a simple ring crafted from silver and the promise of a lifetime. "I don't need anything more than you," he said, voice firm yet tender. "Will you be my partner, my wife, and the one I share this life with?" Tears welled in her eyes as she took his hands, feeling the warmth and strength that had become her anchor. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." That moment sealed the life they had begun to imagine together, transforming the bond of necessity into a bond of choice, love, and forever. Their wedding was simple, attended by neighbors and friends who had come to respect the couple's courage and devotion. The ceremony was heartfelt, blending frontier simplicity with traditions she held dear. They exchanged vows not just of love, but of loyalty, trust, and partnership, the promise of facing every hardship and joy together. In the quiet moments afterward, as the sun set over the plains, they stood hand in hand, knowing that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would meet them together, bound by the love that had grown from a single night of. Life continued, each day a new chapter of the they were writing together. They faced challenges, from weather and illness to the occasional threat of strangers, yet their love endured, unwavering and steadfast. Their family grew, laughter and warmth filling the cabin that had once been a temporary refuge. The Apache woman who had come seeking shelter for one night became the heart of a home, a partner, and the center of a love story that bridged cultures and survived the harshest of circumstances. In the end, their story became legend in the small town and surrounding ranches, a tale of unexpected love, courage, and the power of kindness. The man who had lived in solitude discovered a heart capable of deep connection, and the woman who had journeyed alone found safety, love, and belonging. Their lives intertwined, a testament to the unpredictability of fate and the extraordinary ways love can flourish in the wildest places. The frontier had tested them, shaped them, and ultimately united them in a bond that would endure for generations. They never forgot the first night, the spark of trust that ignited a lifetime together. Every shared sunset, every challenge overcome, every tender moment reinforced the reality that love, once found, could thrive even in the most unforgiving landscapes. And so, in the quiet of the cabin, amidst the untamed beauty of the West, they lived, loved, and thrived, proof that sometimes one night is all it takes to change a life forever. Thank you for watching Romance in the Wild West. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe, share this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Every story here celebrates love, courage, and the unexpected magic of the frontier. Until next time, may your hearts stay wild, your spirits brave, and your stories unforgettable.